Listen closely as I share a lovely, funny story from the deep blue sea. Way up high, where the clouds kiss the waves, lived a seagull named Sidney. Sidney had beautiful white feathers and bright, curious eyes, but, oh, was he ever clumsy? Sidney wasn't just a little clumsy. He was spectacularly clumsy. When Sidney flew, he'd often forget to stop flapping one wing, causing him to spiral in a wobbly circle. Instead of making a smooth landing on the pier, he'd usually skid right into a sandy dune. And when he tried to catch a tasty fish for a snack, well, he'd usually end up with a beak full of seaweed and a surprise crab instead. One sunny afternoon, Sidney was practicing his dive. He wanted to be the best diver on the whole beach. Flap! Flap! Twist! Whoa! He cried as he tumbled through the air. He tucked his wings in, aimed for the water with a very serious look, and kersplash! Sidney didn't just dive. He plunged, belly flopped, and flipped, creating a gigantic, bubbly wave that soaked a very grumpy pelican sitting nearby. Now, deep below the surface, where the water was a peaceful, cool blue, lived a little fish named Finley. Finley was a tiny fish, but he had a huge, very important job. He was the sleepiest fish in the entire ocean. Finley was always sleepy. The soft lull of the waves, the gentle current, the quiet blue light. It all made him feel warm and drowsy. Finley's favorite thing to do was find a cozy, soft spot amongst the waving seagrass and take a very long, very peaceful nap. He was just drifting off into a lovely dream about floating bubbles when a huge rush of bubbly water and sand came swirling down from the surface. Finley tumbled in turn in the sudden current, bumping his nose lightly on a pebble.
"Oh dear," Finley mumbled, rubbing his eye with a tiny fin. "It's the noisy bird again."
Time to move my nap spot. This happened almost every day.
Sidney's clumsy dives would send a splashy surprise right into Finley's quiet corner.
Finley didn't get angry, though. He was too sleepy for that. He just sighed, wiggled his tail, and swam a little further away to find a new, quiet place to rest. One day, Sidney was trying to land on a very skinny branch of driftwood. He wobbled, he teetered, and dwop. He lost his balance completely, dropping the big, juicy, red apple he'd found on the beach. Plunk! The apple sank right into the water and drifted down, 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 until it landed right next to Finley, who had finally found the perfect nap spot, the quietest, calmest cave on the seabed. Finley opened one sleepy eye. Oh, he yawned, a red floating cushion. How thoughtful! Just then, Sidney peeked over the water's edge, his white head bobbing. Hello! Hello down there! Has anyone seen my apple? It's the best apple ever! I dropped it! Finley slowly swam up to the surface, pushing the apple with his nose. He looked up at the big, white bird. You mean this very red, very cushiony object? He mumbled in a slow, sleepy voice. Sidney's eyes went wide. That's it! Oh, thank you! But da-da-da! Wait a moment. Are you the fish whose nap I splash every day? Finley yawned a wide, bubbly yawn. Perhaps. It is very loud up here. Sidney felt a wave of embarrassment wash over his feathers. Oh, Finley, I am so sorry. I'm just so terribly clumsy. I try to be smooth, but my wings just won't listen to me. Finley looked at the clumsy seagull. He wasn't mean. He was just ... Floppy, it's all right. Sidney, Finley said gently. But if you're so clumsy up high, why don't you join me down low? It's much calmer here. And the apples don't make waves. Sidney carefully lowered himself onto a big, smooth rock, keeping his wings tucked in tight so he wouldn't wobble. Finley, the sleepy fish, simply floated nearby. For the rest of the afternoon, the clumsy seagull and the sleepy fish became the best of friends. Sidney told funny stories about the silly things people dropped on the beach, and Finley taught Sidney the most important lesson of the sea. How to be still. Just let the water hold you, whispered Finley as he floated effortlessly. Don't try so hard. Sidney took a deep breath. He stopped twitching his clumsy wings. He felt the gentle rhythm of the ocean and, for the first time, he felt peaceful. The clumsy seagull found his quiet, and the sleepy fish found a good friend. Now, the sun is setting, and the sky is turning a soft, sleepy orange. Just like Sidney learned to be still and float gently on the quiet rock, you can let your body be heavy and still in your cozy bed. Listen to the quiet, let the peace hold you,
And drift off, ...
Sweet dreams, little ones. May your sleep be as calm as Finley's quiet cave.